Hey you guys, Kari here from the Alfred Homestead, and today I wanted to share with you guys our chicken compost ring that we built this week. This is not our idea. You can head over to Permapasture's farm. Billy has a whole playlist about this composting, so if you want to know all the details about how to do this, go over to his channel. It's great. For us, we're just showing how we did it, and so we'll dive right into it. So the first thing that we wanted to do is build the inner ring to the compost. So we're just using whatever we have lying around. And this is some wire mesh. It's like a 1x1 grid mesh. And my husband is just measuring enough so that we have a 6-foot diameter ring. So he's going to cut it in half lengthwise just so that it's about 12 inches high. Because you don't need to have it 2 feet high. That's a waste of material. Um, and so here he's just going to make sure that all of the ends are tied together. We just use zip ties. I mean, we really were just using whatever material we had. This is not like a let's go out to Lowe's and spend $100 kind of a project. We were just using whatever we have. I encourage you guys to just use whatever scrap materials you guys have lying around. Anything that will hold in debris and compost is what you're looking for. So like I said, these squares are like a 1x1 inch, so that should keep most of the compost in. So as you can see, we've got some helpers. They love helping Daddy. So now that it's upright, you can see it a little bit easier. So this is going to be the ring, and it ended up being just about 6 feet in diameter. So that worked out really well. You could definitely go bigger if you wanted to, or possibly go smaller, I'm sure, if you don't have that much to compost. So now that we got the inner ring set up, we're going to form the outer ring, which is more just for support. This is some old cattle panel that we just had lying around. So my husband is taking the grinder to that and again cutting it lengthwise so that we've got about a 12-inch high panel to go around the outside of the ring that we just built. I think you can use any material you have lying around that's going to give it some support. So even if you just had some stakes, I'm sure that that would work too. It's just that with stakes, then you have to put them into the ground and then it's not as mobile. So we want to keep this as mobile as possible because this will be moved every week. So we want to keep this easy to move. So now we're just taking that cattle panel that my husband just cut and wrapping it around the inner ring that we already created. So now we have 2 rings around each other. And again, we're keeping it simple. We're just going to zip tie those together. And the great thing about this compost system is that it is movable, so wherever your chickens are, you can put that there. Our chickens free range, so it's very important for us to be able to move it around. We have a whole about 700 square foot space for our chickens in an electric fence, and every month we actually move them to an entirely new area. So for us, we want to be able to move the compost easily enough. So now we've just got the rings and we're going to put it in there with the chickens and we're going to go get our compost. Now, composting is always really tedious in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but it's so hard to keep up with watering it and like turning it over. And all of those things are really important when you want to create a good compost. So this system for us hopefully will take a lot of that tediousness out. And my husband is just getting some of the older, that stuff right there is some of the older compost. It still needs some time to be broken down, but he's also got some newer compost that he mixed in with it. Horse manure is in there. I mean, everything that we had in the back is now being brought into this composting ring. So he's just going to wet the ground before we put it on there. Ideally, he would have pulled up all the weeds and all of that would be cleared as well. We didn't do that because we were short on time as usual. So you can see here he added the compost and now he is adding the chicken feed on top. And again, you want to keep everything nice and watered. And the chicken feed is just meant to attract the chickens into the compost ring. So that way they're getting in there, they have an incentive to get in there and scratch at it and peck at it and poop in there and all of the things that we want to help make this compost really rich. So this is like compost on steroids because the chickens are in there scratching everything, pecking at everything, picking out bugs and pooping in there, and they're just gonna make sure that this compost is usable in about a month. That's how quick the turnover is, apparently. We will see how long it takes for us. We've got about 20-25 chickens in here, so we'll see if that makes a difference. Maybe if you only have a couple of chickens, it would take longer. But so every day, this is a new day here, and every day for the first week, we added fresh compost, just like kitchen scraps and that sort of thing, pretty much all carbon-based stuff. And the chickens will add a lot of the nitrogen through their poop. We'll be making sure to water this every day, which for us will be easy because we go water the chickens every day anyways. We will turn this over about once a week, but as you can see, it'll be pretty easy to turn over. It's such a small pile, but in about 30 days, it's going to be totally usable compost in the garden. Compost that will be super rich thanks to those chickens. So this is just a really practical composting method for us, and maybe it will be for you if you want to give it a try. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll see you guys next time on the Alfred Homestead.